Academy Sports and Outdoors presents Royals Baseball. Today from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, it's Game 2 of this series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physioc. Rex Hudler with me, and the Royals are playing magnificent baseball. They've won 6 straight games, and obviously they're exciting. They're an action team, but the recipe for success, mainly the last 2 seasons, has been somehow get the lead to that great bullpen of CARRERA, Davis, and Holland.
Yep, that's what makes the Royals so dangerous. Is one of their key components to their winning machine is that back end of that bullpen. HDH is what they're familiar with. The name here the fans have given them. They're dangerous. These guys have all swing and miss stuff. It's fun to watch.
They are our Honda most trusted players. HDH, the last 2 seasons combined. Look at these ridiculous numbers. 76 saves, a 1.36 ERA, and so many strikeouts in so few innings.
And so far this year, they're 11-0 when these 3 guys get in the game. So look, the opponents know it, the fans know it, everybody does. I mentioned swing and miss stuff. That's what you love. Managers really love that when they can come in a situation and get a key strikeout. Holland, Davis, CARRERA, they all have those pitches that the guys missed. And when they're hitting their spots, they use their defense. This is another important component. These guys aren't trying to look to pile up and compete with each other and how many strikeouts I can have. They just get the job done to get the win. Fun to watch.
And the Royals defense has been amazing, whether it's Kane or Dyson or anyone in this lineup. Kansas City's success revolves around defense and HDH. And Joe Goldberg will tell us more right after this.
The home run, one of the great all-star moments in Royals history. He was the MVP, and there will be plenty of choices for Royals this year to perhaps be the hero and the MVP. Joel Goldberg back out here in left field. Just had a pretty cool ceremony at Kauffman Stadium a few minutes ago. Gone are the days where there might be one representative because every team has to have a representative, perhaps a middle or a late inning reliever. No, this year, 7 different Royals going to the All-Star game, plus the whole coaching staff and the manager. And so everyone got their jerseys here just a little while ago, including Ned Yost and so many of the others. His coaching staff will go. Lorenzo Cain introduced to the crowd. Salvador Perez, well, he is starting at catcher. We know about the couple of relievers. Mike Moustakas voted in yesterday. He gave his jersey. And Alex Gordon hurt, not going to play. But the fans, of course, they still love him.
Selected to his 3rd straight All-Star game.
Well, he was on crutches 2 days ago, and now limping out there, but looking pretty good. All of those Royals All-Stars, Ned Yost's team set to take on the Blue Jays next.
The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-BIG-ATT. By your local Kansas City Chevy dealers. Come visit for great prices on all new 2015 Chevy vehicles. And by Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. That is a special scene, seeing all of those Royals receive their All-Star jerseys heading to Cincinnati on Tuesday.
It's an incredible thing for the Kansas City Royals fans, the players, the coaches. What great rewards for their hard work in going to the top of the mountain last year. And look at the difference. Wow, is it exciting. Great job, fans.
And the Royals continue their great home success this year. They're 7-2 on this homestand, and now 29-15 at the K this year. Here's a look at the Toronto Blue Jays, who have fallen below 500 for the first time in a while. They have really struggled recently, losing 13 of their last 20. The Blue Jays batting order will have Reyes, Donaldson, Batista go 1, 2, 3, but those 3 hitters, Rex, are a combined 6 for 47 against Chris Young.
Well, that's good. That's the past. It's all about today and the performance. Now, is Chris Young prepared for this lineup? Absolutely. He's one of the most well-prepared pitchers there are, and condition-wise, so he's ready to go. But now the question is, can he execute? Preparation's good, but if you can't execute, you'll be in trouble. You see that earned run average is nice. It's whip, opponent average 207. That's all good stuff. But you know the Jays are coming out swinging on Young.
Rex Hudler just gave you the Kia in the driver's seat. And the Royals defense brought to you by Ford.
Well, we all know that it's pitching and defense is the right championship formula for this ball club. Yeah, Ford will tell you that too. Orlando, he's out there in left field. He likes it. He's got a good arm. He can throw the ball. He's got tremendous skills. But nice to see Dyson in center. He'll play anywhere, especially as hot as he is. Both sides of the ball, doesn't matter. Someone will make a difference out there with their gloves. You can believe it. Young's a fly ball pitcher. So there's going to be plenty of action.
And they will have a lot of right-handed power in that lineup. And Rex, the wind is roaring out from right to left. So we've got that southeast wind about 15 to 25 miles an hour.
In this humidity, wow, pop flies could be going out of the K here today. And that is the formula for Young. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that ball in the ballpark. He's given up 9 home runs this year, 5 to right-handed bats, 4 to left-handed bats.
Jose Reyes will lead things off. He's hitting .269 with 4 home runs. Was 1 for 4 yesterday, the one time he got on. Gerard Dyson playing left field went down the line and stole a double from Jose Reyes by gunning him down at second base. The Royals won last night by a score of 3-0. Duffy over Estrada. Hosmer went 4 for 4. And we talked about the trio of Carrera, Davis, and Holland. Chris Young gets strike 1.
And that's his key. Most pitchers will tell you they got to get ahead. Fastball, slider, changeup. 3 pitches he gets away with. And he's really good at getting away with them.
2 Infante. 1 out. And Rex, because the game ended a little bit after midnight last night, what is it like for the guys and what was their routine likely last night and into today?
Most guys, you know, they have plenty of time to go out if they want to go out on the road. Last night they went home and they got in bed. Okay, they know what's at stake here. They want to finish the second half strong. These guys are responsible young adults. So they're ready, they're prepared, and the sooner the better. Guys like day games, especially Chris Young.
Obviously, no batting practice for either team as Josh Donaldson steps to the plate. He is headed to Cincinnati, and this is what he's done in his career against Young. Just 1 for 13, and then waves at that good-looking slider.
It's a beauty. The thing I was looking forward to most today was to see how Chris Young can utilize his high fastball against this powerful team, and most power hitters look for fastballs up in the zone.
Infante will take care of the first 2 Toronto Blue Jays in the first inning.
How about that? First 2 outs are ground balls. He typically gets all of his outs in the air. He'll take them, though, because outs are outs.
Well, this is Chris Young's first start on 3 days rest. He has pitched before on 3 days rest, but coming out of the bullpen, including 1 5-inning affair. And we told you the interesting story about Chris with Ned Yost and Dave Island, his pitching coach, where Ned and Dave both went to Chris Young and said, we would like to see if you could pitch on 3 days rest this Saturday. And Chris laughed out loud and said, you know, I was just about ready to come to you guys and say, if you need me on Saturday, I'm ready to go.
Biz, that's part of the energy in the winning formula. Guys want to compete. They can't wait to get to the ballpark. When you're on a team like the Royals that have the lead this time of the year, you can't wait, and you want to contribute, and so does Young. He's no different.
A slow roller. Infante bare hands. Boy, he had a fine first inning. Omar, the outmaker.
3 ground ball outs. Forever Young.
19 games over 500 at 51-33. They still hold that 5.5 game lead over Minnesota, and the Twins with a marvelous comeback on Detroit late last night. Escobar to lead things off. He has been on fire. The Royals will give today off for Salvador Perez and Lorenzo Cain starters, and Ned Yost told us before the game he called it just asset protection.
Well,
it's kind of like an investment.
It is. You're investing now into the future later. That ball's going to get in there.
Escobar, just like last night, going after the first pitch and driving it in the right center alley. Last night's fly ball was caught by the right fielder Bautista, but as you talked about, HUD, not only the wind but the temperature, the humidity, and this ball carried.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Before the game with Mr. Joel Goldberg on his show, I was honored to be on it. I said, Joel, and he asked me how you get to Burley. You get the cookie and don't miss it. And Escobar again turning on the first pitch and going the opposite way. Beautiful stroke.
And Burley has been pitching very, very well lately. Mike shows bunt, pulls the bat back in time, ball one. Over his last 12 starts, opponents have hit just .219, posting a 6-3 record with a 2.29 ERA by Burley, the veteran.
Like Moustakas showing bunt early. That's
and he
right.
does again, and pushes
Beauty
it by Burley. The second baseman will get there in time, and Travis tosses out Moose, but he moves Escobar to third base.
Fizz, I'm a little worked up today. I'm sorry. I've never got that excited on a bunt and a sacrifice. But really, just to see Moustakas, this is important for Moose because he's been really in a funk. Moustakas is 4 for his last 40. So shortening up and putting the bunt down, that's beautiful. But I liked how he got it by Burley, and he got the veteran on the ground. Whenever you get a veteran like that to lay out for something, it could take something away from him. He knows how to field. He's an excellent fielder, 4-time Gold Glover.
Morales leads the club in RBIs with 57. He's a real professional hitter. Right now, Toronto not playing their infield in. They're back. And this will score a run. RBI number 58 for Kendrys Morales. A double, a sacrifice, a ground out. Royals 1, Toronto nothing.
Oh, how about the small ball working? Give half of that RBI to Moustakas.
So Mike Moustakas with 31.5 RBIs and Kendrys Morales with 57.5. I didn't think it was possible until we went to the HUD stat meter.
Hey, but you know what? What surprises me is John Gibbons left his infield back. It just basically gave the Royals a run.
Yeah, I really thought if the Royals had runners on second and third that play back, but just third, they would come in, but they did not.
Nope, and that cost him because had they been in, they would have been able to cut Escobar down at the plate or hold him.
Hosmer to left field, playable for Carrera, and he makes the catch. And Hosmer is out for the first time in this series. just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. A lot of fans fanning themselves today because we finally have temperatures that are out of the 70s and into the 90s again.
While they're fanning themselves, they can pat themselves on the back too for getting all them Royals players in this All-Star game. What a nice sight before the game, all those guys getting their jerseys.
Entire coaching staff is going, and 7 Royals will be attending. Mike Moustakas voted in yesterday. Didn't mean to do it. Escobar says he has it, and he does for the first out.
Oh, don't pitchers love those didn't mean to do it swings? Chris Young, all of his outs on the ground.
Isn't that amazing? Because he has the lowest percentage really of any starting pitcher in baseball of getting ground outs. He is a supreme fly ball pitcher.
He's got his location working and his slider. Those bring the ground balls. Good spotting.
Another power hitter comes up in Justin SMOAK. He has been platooned this year, facing mainly right-handed pitchers, but he has 8 home runs, including 2 in one game July 1st against the Boston Red Sox. He homered from both sides of the plate. Came up with Texas, traded then to Seattle, and now on to Toronto.
Oh, he's got King Kong power. There's no question about that.
Yeah, he had one from the right side of the plate at the Rogers Center that went about 475 feet up into Jose Canseco territory, like the 5th deck. Didn't reach the 5th deck, but blasted off the facade, and there is a check swing, did not go. Count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Didn't miss by much, but that's one of the reasons why Young's getting the early ground ball outs. He's locating down. Oh,
In there, strike 3 called.
execution is all it's about. That's what Ned was telling me before the game. He said, look, he can prepare all he wants, but if he can't execute, he's in trouble. But not so far. He is locating and smoke. You got to go.
And the last thing you want to do on a warm afternoon is have a long inning. And Young's pitch efficiency so far has been brilliant. Only 16 pitches thrown to get 5 outs. Oh, and 2.
Even his changeup is working. So far, he's been perfect. You know, when you have a quality backup catcher in BUTERA, it makes it so much easier for the manager. Because you know what? I need to really take care of Salvi. We heard this before the season, what Ned was talking about, having the ability to find days off for Salvi. And BUTERA makes it easier. Another ground ball out.
Chris Young, go ahead. Go back to the dugout. Get that air conditioning. Stay cool because he's thrown 19 pitches to get 6 outs.
How about a cold icy?
Get a piece of the 2014 postseason as the Royals and Jostens have teamed up to provide the only officially licensed American League Championship fan collection. And they have all kinds of beautiful fan rings, necklaces, cufflinks, key rings, and more. All you have to do is go to royals.com/fanrings and go Royals. Mark Buehrle ready for his second inning of work, and ouch. Alex Rios, former teammate of Buehrle with the Chicago White Sox, took one square in the back, and that's unusual because Buehrle has tremendous control.
Oh, well, it happens. And you know what? For Rios, he says, all right, I'll get on base and I'll rip you off. But you know, at 82, that's the maximum velocity, and it hit him in a good place where there's a lot of meat. But Buehrle and Young, both pitchers, not overpowering. Buehrle 84 miles an hour average. Young 86 miles an hour. So it's a finesse pitcher's game.
Buehrle does control the run game very well. And I would expect the Royals might be hitting and running more than straight seal. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a good idea, because when you got a sinker baller like Buehrle who lives on the ground off the bat, you can move runners and find holes. That's the whole idea. Sinker, slider, curve. There it is.
Past Buehrle. Infante is safe. Now 2 on with nobody out.
Buehrle getting tested. He's a ground ball guy, but man, this little chopper here, he's got to go up and then back down the hill. Couldn't make the play, and not many pitchers could. It's not easy negotiating the slopes of the mound and let the young guy take over. I'm surprised even that the second baseman there made an attempt. That was Devon Travis. He had no chance to get Infante.
Now Drew BUTERA is in the on-deck circle.
I'm bunting here.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah. Move the runners.
He tries to bunt first base side, and bunts foul, strike 1.
Sooner you get the thing down, the better.
And we were talking hit and running, stealing bases, bunting, because no pitcher has received more double plays since 2001 than Mark Buehrle. He has recorded over 300 double plays in the last 14 years.
This is the importance of moving the runners here. Let's get it down. Beauty.
Buehrle only played first base. Boy, Orlando made it awfully close. So 2 sacrifice bunts already by Kansas City.
That's the formula against a guy like Buehrle. Love the execution. You want to get it down as soon as you can, because if you get 2 strikes on you, you got to swing away, and you could hit into a double play. Stayed on top of the baseball and almost beat it out. Good hustle. When you have speed and you got those legs, why not pressure the defense into throwing one away?
Here is Drew BUTERA.
Again, Gibbons electing to keep the infielders in the middle back.
Strike 1. The corners are in, middle back. This is what I expected with runners in second and third, but in the first inning, just a runner at third.
Oh, well, look, it's an easy ribby opportunity if you can make some contact up the middle. The right swing. That was a good swing inside. He stayed inside of it. Didn't want to try to roll over.
Really not necessarily a strikeout pitcher. 59 this year in 115 innings. In there, strike 3 called. That is out number 2.
Buehrle likes to quick pitch and throw cutters in. And for BUTERA, he thought that was a little in.
And his average fastball is only 84 miles an hour at this stage in his career. He used to be in the low 90s. But usually he's been 88 to 91. There were times he was 92 with the Chicago White Sox when he was coming up, but he's thrown a lot of innings. 14 straight 10+ win seasons. chopper that goes right back to Burley, and he will toss to first base. The Royals get a hit but leave 2 in the second inning. Rally house.
You don't always have to contribute with the bat in your hand. You can do it with your glove and your arm. Gerard Dyson, now it never gets old talking about skillful play. And that is exactly what Dyson has shown his manager, Ned Yost. Making these double plays in the outfield don't come easy. But play like this will get your name in that lineup more often. Beautiful play. Bringing everybody off their feet. Even the Platinum Glove winner Alex Gordon was impressed with Gerard. Keep it up.
First Royal with outfield assists in 3 straight games since Gordo in 2011. That's impressive. I mean, this is your 4th outfielder, the guy who comes in for everyone at left, center, and right field, and he gets assists in 3 straight. Kevin Pillar, the batter.
Lots of times, you know, you have to be a victim of an outfield arm, you know, not just once or twice, sometimes 3 and 4 times before they'll stop running on you. It took 2 or 3 years for them to stop running on Alex, but now they don't run on him anymore. Dyson, they'll keep going. They'll think, oh, well, it's a fluke. We're going to stay aggressive. But if he continues to hit cutoff men and keep his throws down low, he'll have a lot of success.
Well, Chris Young, who was absolutely on target in the first 2 innings, getting ahead, finishing guys off immediately, walks Kevin Pillar on 4 pitches. We told you he's pitching on 3 days rest for the first time as a starter. He's done that in the past out of the bullpen and allowed only 1 run in now 19 innings with 21 strikeouts.
Pillar's 12 out of 14 in steals, and I would imagine he'll be going. Base runners are over 70% successful against Young in his career.
The batter is Ezequiel Carrera. Young gets a strike across on the inside corner. Carrera hitting .274 with a home run. He is their extra outfielder, a speed guy, great defender, not much offense. Runner goes. Throw by BUTERA. Sails away from Escobar, who tried to catch and tag, but Pillar was well by him by that time, and that's a stolen base.
Good taker away, and Escobar, nice job of keeping this from going to the outfield. CARRERA. When you're a guy that doesn't hit a lot, you got to do little things. That's to move the runner over.
And he does with an 0-2 count. Infante will throw him out. Fans, don't miss the 4th round of T-Shirt Tuesday on July 21st when the Pittsburgh Pirates come to the K. The first 10,000 fans will receive this modern style charcoal gray tee courtesy of Papa John's. Gates are scheduled to open at 5:30. Get your tickets now at Royals.com/T-Shirt Tuesday or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Well, here is Devon Travis. And he's hitting .297 this year. He had a double last night in their loss, 3-0.
Well, John Gibbons is hoping like heck that he can get this run home. Blue Jays are coming in off of back-to-back shutouts for the first time this year.
Throw to third. Getting back is Pilar. And here's the situation we were talking about earlier. First inning, Toronto played their infielders back. Ned Yost in the third playing infielders in HUD.
Yeah, he wants to cut down that run. He knows it could be a low-scoring affair today. Outfielders are really good with the Royals. We know that. Outfielders now with Dyson 4 assists, 3 for Rios, and 1 for Paulo Orlando. And that's going to work.
Shallow center field. Dyson will make the catch. Pilar will not go.
It won't work.
Dyson's got some respect now.
Wow.
After the show he put on earlier this week, they held Pilar at third.
Looked like, the ball the way it's carrying today, I thought for sure that would be deep enough, but no, Dyson closes the gap again quickly, and with his arm, the third base coach said, I don't think we better try it here. This guy's been really hot. That's Luis Rivera, third base coach.
Now the batter, Jose Reyes. Whacked down the right field line, but foul. It'll be strike one.
We talk about the ability of this offense of the Jays. 297 with runners in scoring position. Best mark in baseball. Most every guy in their lineup's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. But so far, game one, nil.
It's the old "what have you done for me lately?" and they are first in the American League and major leagues in scoring runs at 5.3 per game, and yet they have not scored their last 26 2/3 innings.
They're 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position so far in this early series. This guy, look at those numbers. He's usually getting the job done.
That's two that Chris Young has taken something off of his fastball or his slider, and it's been pulled foul. So Young still has options at 1 ball 2 strikes. Good speed at third and Pilar.
You might want to try that high fastball. See if you can get him to hit one in the air.
He did, but Reyes did not bite. Again tested him upstairs, this time with the slider, and the count is full 3-2.
Same thing, just try to get him out in the air. 4 homers this year, not a lot of pop.
Well, he is patient this time and works the walk. Second in the inning by Chris. And Reyes at one time in baseball was one of the premier base stealers. His first 3 years in the major leagues with the New York Mets, stole 60 bases, then 64, then 78, but then a lot of leg injuries, including one he suffered here in 2013 that was devastating.
Yep, there's an indecision on a slide right there, just really wrecked his ankle. It was terrible. And that was early, the first year they got him. Good pitch, slider away to Donaldson.
First and third, 2 out. Donaldson had a tough time with Young first time up, swinging and missing at those sliders and eventually reaching for one and punching it to Infante, who threw him out. Runner goes, pitch is swung on, hit to Escobar. Nice big hop for Esky. And the Royals get the Jays in the third. Toronto leads 2, 1-0 KC.
Nice job of pitching.
In 1979, while stationed at Fort Leavenworth, Barbara helped organize the Bethany Prison Ministry, a weekly ministry that was created to reach out to soldiers who were incarcerated at the U.S. disciplinary barracks and bring them peace and comfort during their punishment. For 35 years, Barbara and her late husband Kent have faithfully attended the meetings and even stood in as a proxy in celebrations and godmother for others. Thank you very much, Barbara. And I've heard about that Bethany program through my brother, Colonel Ray Bartlett Physiak, who was there at Fort Leavenworth to do some work. A little slow roll to short. Reyes throws out Escobar. Let's go to Joel.
All right, guys, our University of Kansas Hospital injury report takes a look at Clay Buchholz for Boston. Left last night's game with tightness in his right elbow. He has been very good so far for Boston, definitely good lately, and so no more updates, awaiting MRI results on Clay Buchholz. As for this guy, all right, in the time that this report will go, the inning might be over. He works that quickly. Mark Burley coming off of Monday, a game that was 1 hour and 54 minutes, and John Gibbons telling me, so there you go, there's 2 real quick ones as Donaldson makes the spin and throw to retire Mike Moustakas. But John Gibbons telling me there were even 3 instant replays in that game Monday. It could have been quicker. He's also said, Gibby, that some guys are lobbying to get Burley to pitch tomorrow since it's the All-Star break and a lot of guys are scattering and want to head out of town. He said, hey, maybe I can have him pitch Saturday and Sunday. Burley said, no, I'm not pitching both days. And if I were to pitch Sunday the way it would work, it'd probably end up being a 5-hour game. If you're wondering, guys, that 1 hour and 54-minute game from Burley, the 10th shortest of his career. The quickest game, 2005, 99 minutes against the Seattle Mariners.
No way.
And he beat Seattle that day. Grounder to short. Reyes gets Morales, and Burley trying to top his last inning. Trails the Royals 1-0. Dono Ventura bobblehead. You can be one of the first 15,000 fans through the gates to receive this one-of-a-kind item. It commemorates Ventura's tremendous performance in Game 6 of the World Series. This is courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City. By the way, you can also celebrate Hispanic heritage with the Royals during our Viva Los Reales event, featuring a salsa showdown and other festivities happening in the outfield experience. To get your tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Jose Bautista will lead things off, facing Chris Young, who was not allowed a hit but walked 2 in that 3rd inning. Just outside, ball 1. That's hit well, but foul. And it's a 1-1 count. The Royals were defending Bautista the same way they are right now. 3 infielders in the left side back in inning number 1. Bautista hit a slow roller to that left side. Now Escobar dives, but it's just past his reach into left field. And that's the first hit of the day for Toronto. Infante was able to get to a slow roller and barehanded throw out Jose in that 1st inning.
It's amazing so far early this game how many ground balls that he's inducing. And you know, sometimes you play a guy a certain way and it doesn't work out, but the way he's rolling those ground balls, why not roll a pair? Coming up here.
There is strike 1 to Encarnacion. Rex, I just wonder if they change the strategy, because Young induces so many fly balls because guys get underneath. And if their pitching coach was more determined to try and stay through on top of that baseball.
Well, Young's going to pitch his game. He's going to pitch to his strengths.
I'm talking about Toronto's strategy.
You can't control a bat swing that easy. You're going to see the ball where it is, and you're going to drive it. And for these guys, they're looking up. They're looking right into Chris Young, but they're just staying on top of the ball. They happen to be on top of the ball today. Their offense is. Now, you can credit Young if you want to, but that's just baseball. Uh-oh.
And that is deep. Orlando is back. And it is gone. And Toronto has their first lead of this series at 2-1.
Just like that.
Wind was blowing out, obviously helped by that wind.
That's what this team does. They hit homers. $80-mile-an-hour changeup that stayed up. So John Gibbons, in his offense, the drought is over.
It ends at 27 innings of shutout baseball. One of the top offenses in the league. Came in averaging 5.3 runs per game. The Royals at 4.4. And a foul back by Justin SMOAK.
Nice job by Paulo Orlando trying to time this. Okay, he's got the fence there and he's got great leaping ability, but just he doesn't have stretch arms. I mean, that ball is over everything.
SMOAK swings and misses, and there's the first out of the 4th.
Good slider.
Russell Martin takes strike 1. So Chris Young giving up his 10th home run of the year and his 6th to a right-handed batter. Edwin Encarnacion belting his 18th home run. The hits are even, but Toronto now has a 2-1 lead. And Martin with a bunt. Moustakas in quickly, bare hands, throws, and that's not in time. Martin runs too well.
He picked the right pitch and he got some backspin on the ball, and what that did then was once the ball hit the turf, it backed up. It had some really good English on it, so that was the difference for the base hit.
Now Pilar, who walked his first time up, stole second base, went to third on the ground out by Carrera. He was there with one out, but Travis hit a fly ball to center field that Dyson made the catch on running in, and they chose not to send Pilar. Swing and a miss and a good slider. Reyes then walked, but Donaldson grounded out. Chris's last start, that was Sunday or earlier this week, just 3 days ago on Tuesday, which is swung on and missed. 0-2. I was thinking of another walk-off, but Chris went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs, did not get the decision in that 9-5 victory. That was the game Paulo Orlando hit the grand slam to give the Royals their 3rd straight walk-off victory.
Chris Young's going to throw a couple of courtesy throws over there every so often just to keep the base runner honest. Martin has stolen 4 bases, but most likely won't be going 0-2. Don't want to strike him out, throw him out.
Pilar was reaching for that one, but just did grab a piece of it.
Foul tip just caught the end of the finger of BUTERA.
Royals give Pilar a lot of room in left center field as Dyson shading him towards right center. Single by Batista, a home run by Encarnacion. Smoke struck out. Martin on first base after the bunt single. Had him reaching for that one. Easy play for Dyson. 2 out. Fans, you can slug your way to the home run derby crown and master the game millions are playing right now. It's action-packed, insanely fun, and you can play in great American ballpark. Home of the All-Star Game with 2015 Home Run Derby participants. Download MLB.com Home Run Derby free on the App Store and Google Play. And here are the matchups.
All right, let's check it out. Albert Pujols, happy to see him in there. Chris Bryant, the rookie. Jock Peterson, a couple of young guys in there. I look forward to that. That's always fun. You know, we always mention the distance of the home run, and believe me, in baseball, it's just, if it goes over the fence, it's a homer, no matter how far you hit it. But it does in these home run derbies. That's the fun of watching it. The tape measure, all the new technology, Fizz, is fun too. We got the hit speed off the bat, the distance. There's a lot of fun things to engage yourself in.
And you can watch that at 7 o'clock Central. All-Star activities, and they have a great time. The Futures game, of course, will be on Sunday, and Cheslor Cuthbert, who was the Royal third baseman this week when Mike Moustakas was gone. They also named Balbino Fuenmayor, who had 2 home runs yesterday at AAA. He was a late addition to the Futures game.
And also Raul Mondesi Jr. Love to see that kid play. He's an exciting young shortstop, a switch hitter with power, and the Royals got him. It's beautiful.
He is down at AA Northwest Arkansas right now. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. And the count will even at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out and a runner at first base.
So Raul Mondesi is not a junior, but his dad's name was Raul. What's that make him?
Adalberto.
Okay.
His older brother is Raul Jr.
Okay. My bad.
He is Raul Adalberto.
Don't yell at me. Thank you.
Well, that time they sent Russell Martin and he fouled it back. And Raul's still just 19 years old. He'll turn 20 on July 27th. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's swung on and belted high and deep down the right field line. And it is hooking and going foul. Thank you very much. Whew. Young pitches often above the belt, which can be dangerous on a hot, humid day. Mark Burley pitches below the belt and usually below the knees,
which works in any ballpark.
Got him. Went back to that slider and got Carrera to chase, but Edwin Encarnacion hits the home run for a 2-1 J lead. Bread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Chrysler. Find your summer of adventure with great deals at the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. Mark Burley, he certainly has been one of the best. I mean, a 3-1 record in his last 7 starts with a 1.41 ERA. And he has that tremendous command we were talking about down in the strike zone. That's our Academy Sports and Outdoors statistic. 208 wins in his career.
He gets the ball and throws it.
This is his 479th consecutive start, Rex, without being on the disabled list.
Yep, he's a durable athlete. Plus, he's one heck of a guy. He's warm. He's got a good personality. He's a great teammate.
Gets another ground out, this time by Eric Hosmer, and there's one down to open the bottom of the fourth.
That's exactly what he likes to do to the opponents. With the 4 or 5 pitches he has, fastball, changeup, cut fastball, curveball, and he'll change speeds on every one of them. That's what makes him so good. He understands the art of pitching. He's a craftsman.
He's now induced 6 ground ball outs, and here is Rios. Had a good game yesterday with a single and a double. It was his 6th multi-hit game in the last 10. He's raised his average to 235.
Yep, he bunted last time up.
No, got hit in the back, remember?
Oh, that's right. Just checking it out here. He's again, I'm thinking this is Paulo Orlando, because they both look alike. Fizz, their physique is the same. I get confused. Sorry, I'm easily confused. Today especially.
You're probably too familiar with that great 1970s singing group, Paulo, Orlando, and Alex.
Rios has a homer off of Burley in his career, out of his 5 hits.
He muscles that one almost over the head of the shortstop Reyes, who is there for the catch, and second out. So now Burley will face Omar Infante, who chopped one up the middle over the head of Mark, and that put runners on first and second. The Royals would sacrifice them to second and third, but BUTERA struck out looking, and Dyson grounded back to the mound. 1-1.
Burley never leaves the circle of the dirt. He'll throw his pitch and then he quickly backs up. See how he just backs up? Doesn't he? You know, we see Vargas. Vargas will walk 10 feet on the grass to get the next ball, but then he walks back briskly to the mound.
And Burley only pitches to the edges of that strike zone. Very rarely do you see him come right down the middle. So consistent with his delivery. Infante tries to drop one to right, but cutting it off in time is Batista. 1-2-3 go the Royals in the fourth. To the fifth we go. It's 2-1 Blue Jays. team is heading to Cincinnati for the All-Star game. And extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball. Don't miss the 86th All-Star game. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock Central this coming Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. And you'll see a lot of Royals there. 7 were voted in, including 4 starters. Perez, the catcher, Escobar, the shortstop, outfielders Kane and Gordon. Alex, of course, will not be able to play because of the injury. They do have 2 relievers going, and that's Wade Davis and Kelvin Herrera. And then yesterday in the final fan vote, Mike Moustakas voted in. Chris Young working the 5th inning, and Devin Travis, who flied out to center field his first time up. That should be an easy play for Alex Rios. It carried a little further than we thought it might, and there's 1 out. Well, of course, Alex Gordon is one of the great Nebraska Cornhuskers and Huskers fans. So you can be here on Saturday, August 8th, as the Royals take on the White Sox. The first 6,000 fans who bring their Huskers night ticket to the designated table will receive a limited edition red and white KC Royals Huskers cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. To purchase this exclusive ticket package, visit Royals.com/special events. And last year, Alex hit a home run on Husker night. Unfortunately, he will be gone this year with the injury, and he is expected to miss 8 weeks. But with his work ethic and discipline, to listen to head athletic trainer Nick Kenny, we're hoping it's a little shorter than 8 weeks.
Right. You never know.
Back our way, Dave Holtzman. No.
Denny.
Denny almost got it.
Did Denny have a shot at it? Alex Gordon walked out of the dugout today to accept his All-Star jersey. And look, certainly a little gimpy for tearing your groin muscle, but look at him. He's strong. He's an animal. A guy, he understands this game and he understands pain. He'll be okay. He's got to heal. 3, maybe 4 of those 8 weeks doing nothing, just letting it cool off and let it get well before he can start working it again. And when you're a player like that and that happens to you, it's tough at first, but then after a while, you're around your teammates, you encourage them, you bring life to them, you make them feel good. It's your turn now to pat them on the back.
And I thought that was great what he said the other day when he met with the media, and he said as soon as he's ready. I mean, that means according to the medical professionals, as Donaldson swings and misses at a first pitch slider, Alex will join the team on the road just to do what you're talking about.
Right. And you know, it just kind of depends on too what kind of guy you are, what's your personality like. You know, I spend a lot of time on the disabled list myself. It's not a good place to be, but asking my manager Marcel Latchman when I was with the Angels and I was out for a period of time, Latch, boy, I sure would like to stay home with my family. What do you think about this upcoming road trip? He says, Hud, we need you. You got to come. Okay, all right, I'm coming. And you know, that's just what Alex is going to bring. He's going to bring energy. He's going to bring some confidence. Just seeing him in there.
Empowering, encouraging others.
That's right, and that's a big part of this game.
Runner goes, pitches swung on and missed, and down goes Donaldson, but a stolen base for Jose Reyes, number 12 this year.
Well, we saw that feet first slide a couple of years ago that put him on the disabled list, so now he's sliding head first here at the K. I think he remembers that. No chance. Just put that ball in your pocket. BUTERA did the right thing. And it looks to me like Reyes is a little bit gimpy. I don't know. It looked like he was grabbing his left leg, his hamstring maybe.
He has had a lot of leg injuries in his career. We told you what a dynamic base stealer he was early in his career. As Batista takes strike 1. broke his left leg in 2004, then had right calf tendonitis, which sidelined him 2009. He goes again, a swing and a miss. BUTERA's throw not in time, and 2 stolen bases in this inning by Jose Reyes.
Well, look, obviously his hamstring is fine.
But with Batista up there, you better be sure you're going to steal third base.
Yeah, he was 100% sure he could make it, and he made it by plenty.
Out of play. So they'll try it again at 0-2. And this is the 3rd time through the order for the Jays facing Chris Young, but Young very intelligent. He will also make adjustments. And that ball sent to center field. Dyson back, and he will make the catch. Boy, he runs faster backwards than a lot of guys run forward. And he scooted back very, very quickly to make that catch on that line drive by Batista.
Skills.
Mark Burley ready to go. Bottom of the 5th inning. Paulo Orlando is the batter. He sacrificed his first time up. And he hits that one sharply. Bobbled by Reyes, but he still has time and gets Paulo by a half a step.
Facing a guy like Burley, you know, you're going to hit him on the ground because he's going to throw him down there, sinker sliders. You just hope like heck you can find holes. And it can be done. You just got to stay at him.
Burley just gets it and goes. He gets a lot of ground outs, 9 already in this afternoon's game. The shortest game in the history of Royals baseball was an hour and 35 back in 1971 back at Old Municipal Stadium, and that was against the Oakland A's. And earlier Joe Goldberg was talking about the fastest game that Burley has ever pitched, which was 1 hour and 39 minutes against Seattle.
Wow, you wonder if the first pitch rule was in effect with the teams. Oh, look at this.
Martin, 2 out.
Not far enough. He'd have had a perfect swing and bunt. But you know, in spring training, sometimes getaway days, last days, the players all tell each other and they pass it around. Just hit the first pitch you see. Let's get this game over with. So you wonder if that hour and 35-minute game was one of those, because that's pretty quick.
Plus, it was back in the day we didn't have as many promotions. We didn't have as long commercial breaks, etc.
Yeah, you're right.
We talked to Denny Matthews all the time, the Hall of Fame broadcaster, about just that. Denny, of course, started with the ball club in '69, so that would have been his 3rd season. And there is a breaking ball in there to Dyson, 0-2.
It's a beauty, that curve. He's not going to throw a lot of them, but when he throws them, he usually throws them for a strike, and he throws them at the opportune time to get that hitter's vision off of his sinker.
I just marvel at how quickly he steps back up on that rubber, gets the sign, and goes to work.
Now, when you've been doing something for as many years as he has, he does this in his sleep.
I'm surprised more pitchers don't operate this way.
Well, it's a difficult craft. You have to think. You have to have your mechanics just right. You have to know. There's a lot that goes on behind, being a pitcher. And when you don't think like Burley and you just get up there and throw it, it looks easy and simple.
Strikes out Dyson.
Had this Joe Panic home run, not because it was anything special. I mean, the Giants crushed Joe Lavero's Phillies, but how about this? How badly you want a souvenir home run ball? Badly enough that that guy is jumping into McCovey Cove. It's kind of like the fountains here. You're not allowed to do it. Kind of reminds us a little bit of Cleveland and this guy. Just drop the cell phone. There you go.
Forget about the beer.
Don't forget about the beer. All right, let's go. But I think that the guy in San Francisco had to work a little bit harder for it because, he had to get back out of there and then had security waiting for him and jumped into McCovey Cove, fully clothed, jacket on. I'm assuming a nice, cool night in San Francisco, as it always is. As they say about the fountains here, don't do it.
And as they say, as our partner Ryan Lefevre says, you can't beat fun at the old ballpark. Oh. Cracks me up to see the fans.
Jim Wolf was chasing down a bee, and I mean, he had his hat off swatting while the pitch was thrown. And he's still walking around looking for that bee.
Look at that guy. Look at his forearms. Man, he's yoked. He spends a little time in the weight room. That's right. We're looking at you.
Popped him up right side. Infante. Boy, there is a high sky here. And Omar did a good job blocking the sun with his glove to make the catch. And there's one out to open the 6th inning. Our DraftKings players to watch, just go to DraftKings.com and enter promo code BRoyal. Escobar 1 for 2 today with a double and a run scored. Batista 1 for 3. Cespedes we're watching for Detroit, and against Phil Hughes, he's done a pretty good job. Jake Odorizzi will make his first start since June 5.
Well, you know, there hasn't been a lot of high sky here this week. A lot of raindrops coming down. So Infante, he's being tested using the bill of his cap, his sunglasses, and his glove, all to make the play. And you know, Fizz, you mentioned high sky. I mean, it's the same. The sky is as high as it's been yesterday as it was today. The difference is when there's blue sky up there, it's very hard for the fielders to see the ball.
Infante, through his legs. As once it hit the grass, it stayed down, did not take the true hop you'll see on dirt, and that will be an error on Omar.
Well, you know, you're not used to fielding the ball on the grass as much as you are on the dirt, but I've seen Infante go out and take ground balls during batting practice on the grass, but you just never know. Just like dirt, if that ball's going to come up or come down. You try to read it the best you can, but that happens.
Now Omar communicating with Escobar and who will cover the ball.
Mainly Chris Young. Now, on a comebacker to Chris Young, and we've seen him. He's an excellent fielder for his size. He wants to know who he's working with on a ball back to him. So he makes a mental note. When it happens, he just reacts and throws to the guy that told him he was covering before the pitch, before the hitter.
Works Martin upstairs, but falls behind. 2 balls and no strikes. Escobar and Infante set up to turn a double play in case one is struck towards them by Martin. There's a low strike, and that's the pitch I think Chris would have appreciated Martin swinging at, maybe grounding one to Escobar. Perfectly located. BUTERA barely had to move his glove. Two runs, 4 hits for Toronto. 1 run, 2 hits for Kansas City. Esky, second base. They will not be able to double up the speedy Russell Martin.
Got the ground ball. Just wasn't hit to Escobar where he could roll it.
It's time again for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Royals won last night 3-0 in a game that was delayed 2 hours and 7 minutes by rain. There's that slider that misses away. 1 ball, no strikes. Young looking good after just 3 days rest, last pitching on Tuesday. Pilar does not swing. Good patience. 2 balls, no strikes. He was named the Blue Jays Player of the Month in June, hitting .365. Very speedy offensive player and tremendous fly catcher in the outfield. Boy, you've seen him on so many highlight reels, making diving catches and left and right center.
Yeah, Pilar and Kevin Kiermaier of the Rays. They were just here. Those two are very similar players. Action type guys. Guys that, you know, they put their body on the line every time they go out there. They don't care. They just want to make the play.
Swing and a miss, throw to second. Infante's got the tag down, and out at second base is Russell Martin.
Oh yeah, Drew BUTERA, he got him a nice pitch to handle, came right up. Infante wasn't there, but he just threw to the base.
will win $300, but if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Melissa will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Well, Burley has been very, very sharp, getting a lot of ground ball outs, and Escobar was the one guy who touched him. First pitch of the game that Burley threw, Escobar doubled, was sacrificed to third, and scored on Morales' ground out. And since that time, Burley has really offered nothing to Kansas City, and he's now retired 11 straight.
Well, the key, like facing any pitcher, is to, when he gets the ball up, don't miss it.
Now, Chris Young is a pitcher who will really study the scouting reports, does a great deal of work, but Burley's not like that. He doesn't study scouting reports at all. He said it's more stuff in your mind, and I think it leads to second guessing. Wanted to get your thoughts on that.
That's my kind of player right there. He trusts his stuff. He knows his ability. Sometimes when you start overstudying, you start second guessing yourself, like he says, and I call that paralysis by analysis.
A little flare to the second baseman, Travis, who had him played perfectly. And we should let you know that there's a new third baseman, Danny Valencia. Josh Donaldson left with flu-like symptoms, and just a precautionary measure to take him out.
Biz, you know, all the information that's provided these players now is incredible. It's way too much stuff, and some players it will lock them up. That's what I call paralysis by analysis. You read so much stuff, by the time you get out there, you're going, oh, what was I supposed to do here, and what was this count I was going to throw? I mean, it's too much. So, you know, that's one of the reasons that the Angels were having problems with the front office, bringing all this stats down and getting them to the players, and the coaches and stuff weren't really comfortable giving all that stuff to them, because the guys who are on the field, the coaches, they played before. They know that paralysis by analysis can be a problem. So the fact that Burley just goes, you know, he might look at see who's hot. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to know who's hot that particular coming into that series, but there's a lot of truth to it.
And Joel Goldberg has some input on Mark Burley.
You know, it's so interesting, guys, how everybody is wired differently. Mark Burley, I mean, when he came over and Deonor Navarro was his catcher last year, still is at times, he would send Deonor Navarro to the scouting meetings and say, just put down whatever you want me to throw, and I'll get out there and throw it. On the flip side, as we're going to see Travis cut off Reyes and make the play, the flip side of it is Chris Young, I don't think that he would be okay without all that information. Rex has talked about it. He is knee-deep in the information and studying every chart throughout those 4 days in between his starts. That's where he's comfortable. Mark Burley couldn't be further from that. Much more comfortable not thinking about a thing.
Yeah, Joel, but when you force information on a player that doesn't have that, like a Burley, if you try to force that on him, it messes him up. And you're right, everyone has their own way of finding their information out, but I can tell you that we had meetings in Japan every single day when I played for the Swallows there, and because the starting pitchers were a secret. Okay, and the game in Japan, I don't know if it's still the same way, they would announce the starting pitcher when the umpires took the lineups out there to the field, and so you studied 3 pitchers a game every day. I mean, that was way too much. So I would see the Japanese players go up there, and they would lock up in certain situations. Information overload.
Morales pops it up right side. Well, they can't find it, and it's base hit. I saw Justin Smoak look up, and he had no idea where the baseball was, and turned and looked for Travis, and Travis thought Smoak was going to take it, and the Royals have a base runner. And that ends the 13 straight retired by Mark Burley.
Well, that might just be what it takes to get him going. But see, that's why you just never know on balls that are popped up. Now, second base, Travis, he never saw it either. So that was a free and easy base hit.
And here comes Hosmer, who was 4 for 4 last night, 0 for 2 today, with a fly out to left and ground out to second. Strike one.
Yep, get me over curveball.
I think it gets back to, Rex, everyone has a routine. And if you're successful with that routine, why change? I mean, that's what this game is about. And you told me since we started working together that the game is about adjustments. And when the pitchers adjust to you, well, you have to adjust back.
2 quick strikes on Hosmer.
And then he sends a ground ball to Reyes. He'll touch second base, and that will do it. The Royals get a base hit, but leave him stranded at first base, and we head to the 7th with the Jays leading 2-1. .com and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Steve Biziak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg here at Kauffman Stadium. Royals won last night 3-0. They trailed today 2-1. Chris Young back on the hill. He has worked extremely well on 3 days rest. This is his first start on 3 days rest. He will face Kevin Pillar. Strike one.
Chris Young doing exactly what he's been doing ever since he's been in the Royals uniform. Keeping his team in the game. And going out there, executing his pitches. It doesn't matter the offense, how powerful or how little they are. He just works around the strike zone the best he can with his good stuff.
With a 0-2 count, too much of the plate, and a single by Pillar, who has a stolen base earlier this afternoon, might be going here to try and give a little insurance run, but Ned Yost isn't going to let him go farther. He's going to halt it at 6 innings and probably go with someone who can control the running game a little better than Chris and Young.
He wants the lefty. Morales.
Our Chevy call to the bullpen. Franklin Morales. bullpen fence in left field. The difference right now in the ball game.
Well, there's no need for him to beat himself up, because this guy did exactly what every field manager loves of your starter, especially on 3 days rest. He gave it all he had. 202 overall opponent batting average coming in against the most flammable offense there is, and only gave up 5 hits. So they hit a 2-run homer off him. He did his job. Excellent job of pitching today, and Young can sleep easy tonight. They're going to come back and get the win for him anyway.
Morales pitching in his 36th game. 3-0 record, 2.55 ERA. He'll face the speedy CARRERA. Might be bunting. And time called by home plate umpire Ron Kolpa. Mustak is in on the infield grass at third, and Hosmer playing in front of the base at first. And Morales goes that way and getting back Pilar. Franklin's got a good move, has picked a man off earlier this year.
Now, this is one of the reasons why he felt it was good to go to Morales, like you mentioned. Almost got him before he got his foot on the base. Matter of fact,
Ted was thinking of challenging.
Yeah, it's close.
CARRERA 0 for 2, ground out, strikeout. And that time Pilar was moving back towards first base when Morales brought the pitch home.
That's a good idea to bunt him here. 1-run game like this. You got Travis coming up, who's hit 362 with runners in scoring position. Reyes hitting 310. Donaldson 329. Get him in scoring position.
Bunt down, go to second, and they get it. And Escobar kind of had an awkward landing when he fielded the baseball. He kind of twisted around, looked like he may have twisted his left ankle.
Well, you know, it was a great play by BUTERA. He recognized that the bunt was just a little bit out over the plate, and he's able to take that lead out. But he threw a really good ball, but it was down low, and it was tough for Escobar to read it. Looks like he got a little twisted up with the base. But see, that ball was coming in hot, and he's got such soft hands. He caught it in the heel of his glove, and that's where a lot of players can drop it unless you have soft hands like El Mago. Magician.
Ground ball third, but wide of the mark, and it's a strike. CARRERA is a stolen base guy. He stole 43 bases in the minors last year and 7 more in the major leagues.
Morales, good slider, hard fastball. He'll touch some 95, but he's better in the low 90s. He's not overthrowing. Quick burst coming out of that delivery. Makes it tough for hitters to pick him up. And it also is tough for Pilar to get a read on him, try to get a jump. Excuse me, Pilar's out. It's CARRERA.
Base hit right field. CARRERA will stop at second base, so first and second with only 1 out here in the 7th inning. And the Royals do have a right-hander warming up in the bullpen. Ryan Madsen continues to throw for Kansas City in the pen. You've got Reyes now, and then Danny Valencia, who came on for Josh Donaldson in that last inning. Josh, we were told, taken out because of flu-like symptoms. With Valencia's ability to hit left-handers. I would imagine Ryan is getting ready for that man. Breaking ball misses low and in.
Reyes is just grounded into 3 double plays. Still runs well.
Wind picks up again, roaring out towards left, about 20 to 25 miles an hour. Pilar singled on an 0-2 count. Ned Yost went to Franklin Morales. And Carrera tried to drop a sacrifice and dropped it poorly. And unable to advance the runner. In the next batter, Travis got a base hit to right, which could have scored Pilar had he been on second base. Instead, it's first and second. Low and in.
Morales has induced 2 ground ball double plays this year. And you know, right now he's having a hard time getting ahead. I think his focus is a little bit too much on the runners. Just concentrate on that hitter and execute your pitch down in the zone and let him hit it on the ground somewhere.
Well, they came right down the middle with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Gets back in the count. Royals scored their run in the first on a double by Escobar, a sacrifice, and then a ground out.
That last pitch was the occasional changeup that Morales will use to a right-handed hitter.
Another fastball, this time cutting in on his hands. 2-2.
Remember, Morales was a starting pitcher last year, so he has 4 pitches. But out of that bullpen, guys can come in and they can throw harder because they can give it a little bit more and just only use 2, maybe 3 pitches.
Well, the Blue Jays, who this year have the best average with runners in scoring position, nearly 300, have been awful in the first 2 games of this series. 0 for 12. Reyes with a 2-2 count. Morales and BUTERA could not come together on pitch selection or location, so they give the signs again. Here's the pitch, and it bounces in the dirt. This will advance both runners. Well, I guess Morales wanted to throw the breaking ball and was well short with the pitch, and a wild pitch.
Trying that changeup. You can see it in the back 3 fingers of his pitching hand. BUTERA did all he could to try to get his body in front of it. Ed Yost will have to bring the infielders in now. Reyes has got a good at-bat going here. He's seen a lot of Morales pitches. He's waiting for one on over the middle. With the infield drawn in, he's going to try to lay it out there somewhere in the middle.
Rolls it to Hosmer. Hosmer's coming home, and it's a wide throw, and a run scores.
Tough chance for Hosmer moving towards left field.
So now we have our call to the bullpen, and Ryan Madson will come on to face the right-handed swinging Danny Valencia. This is our Chevy call to the bullpen. Madson in, Morales out. It's 3-1 Blue Jays.
He wears the gold. He has the ability to throw, and it sailed on him a little bit. And so, you know, in order to get the ball on a force play, the throw had to be on the third base side of the plate.
And Carrera runs really well. It would have been a bang-bang play, and even if the throw was right at his leg. Here's a pitch swung on and sent foul by Danny Valencia. Runner was going, and he'll have to come back. Now that's a foul ball, young man. Wind really picking up here as we're in the 7th inning here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. 3-1 Blue Jays. Madsen goes over to first base. Good speed on.
And you know, Madsen is another one of those relievers that is not focused on the runner. He wants to keep his focus on Valencia, who could really turn the game around. He's got some good power. Let Reyes steal the base. Let BUTERA handle it if he thinks he can throw him out.
And Drew will not make the throw. It's a stolen base for Reyes, his 3rd of the game.
Yeah, we're getting late in the game here. Runs are really big in a low-scoring game, so it's good BUTERA just put it in his pocket.
Well, particularly the way Burley's throwing. I mean, he has absolutely dominated Kansas City in his career and has allowed the Royals just 3 runs in his last 4 starts. That covers almost 28 innings. Valencia swings and misses as Madsen gets him with a good fastball.
Yep, that's what a guy with Madsen's ability can do. Good fastball, low to mid-90s cutter, changeup. Excellent pitches.
That will take us to Batista.
Valencia probably had his changeup in the back of his mind. That's how he's able to get that fastball by it.
Batista 3rd in the American League in RBIs with 59, and he goes after the first pitch and pops it up. That will help. Hosmer foul territory, makes the catch. That sun really has been agonizing for the defenders. Jays get 1 and increase their lead to 3-1 over KC. The Royals in the past, as you take a look at our Toyota League leaders, these are the all-time rankings against KC. He is 2nd in wins to Bert Blyleven and starts with 52, and he's won his last 3 ball games, and as I told you, he's allowed only 3 runs in 27 2/3 innings his last 4 starts against Kansas City. And here we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Royals haven't done much damage to Burley this afternoon. They have only 3 hits. 2 of them singles, 1 a double, and that was Escobar's in the first. He scored the only Royal run. So it's Rios, Infante, Orlando here in the 7th. And Rios rolls 1 foul.
Now we're seeing a typical Mark Burley performance. Quick rhythm, gets the ball, sinker, slider, changes the eye level with some high fastballs and some occasional curveballs. So he's really on top of his game.
Well, he's been on top of his game all year long. His best game was a complete game shutout of the Washington Nationals back on June 3rd. And Rex, that's 7 straight quality starts he's had since that complete game shutout of Washington. Quality starts against Miami, the Mets, Baltimore, Texas, Boston. And last start he had an 8-inning performance, didn't allow an earned run, and lost the game to the White Sox. His defense failed him.
Yeah, he did his job. You know, he's a veteran pitcher that you know exactly what you're getting every time he goes out there. Now you would think hitters could be able to pick up more than what he has, you know, and get to him, but he just has an array of pitches, and he changes speeds with all of them, and doing what all pitchers try to do to hitters, get them off balance.
Smacks that one to left field. So Rios has been on twice today. He's going for 2. Here's a good throw, but not in time. Rios has a leadoff double.
Yes, glad to see him take advantage of that ball that he hit. Made contact on a ball up. That's what they need to do to get back in this game off of Burley. And then when he hit it, it was deep enough in the corner where with his kind of speed, he's going to beat it. Sure enough, and he gets that by getting out of that box quickly, hitting first base, and then just never stopping. Watch him. He's going to look up. Okay, he's catching it. Play. I can make this.
Not only that, Hud, but because Burley gets so many double plays, a double so much more important than a single against Mark Burley.
Right, Infante with a nice swing there to try to get him over.
We told you earlier, in the last 14 years, no pitcher has had more double plays turned behind him than Mark Burley, more than 300 double plays. So the Royals with their 4th hit. Infante bunts foul.
Sure would like to see him swing the bat. Infante's done a nice job of picking up some big runs. 292 average with runners in scoring position. They're getting late in the game here. Take a shot at getting him in.
Well, I thought he was going to bunt for a base hit there with Valencia at 3rd base and not Donaldson.
Well, he tried there, but you know, now he's down 0-2. Yep. Move the runner.
Will he be able to move Rios?
Yes.
The catch is made. There goes Alex. The throw is to 3rd base. It is cut off.
It's good to see Rios with another extra base hit and using his legs.
So Alex at 3rd base. The Jays again will play their infield back. The corners will be in with Valencia at 3rd and SMOAK at 1st. Last time up, Orlando hit it sharply and goes after the first pitch here and fouls it straight back, strike 1.
Focus here is up the middle.
Well, the last time Chris Young pitched, Orlando was the hero late. That walk-off grand slam. And he rolls one to short, only played first base. The Royals cut it to 1. Both of their runs have been because of small ball in the first inning, a double, a sacrifice, a ground out. And here it's a double, a fly out, and then a ground out.
That's why your focus there with the corners in is up the middle and just pick up the RBI. Good job by Orlando.
Salvador Perez just in case. Ned Yost needs him. He's got his helmet on. Drew BUTERA will bat here with 2 out and take ball 1.
This is the time of the game where the Royals score their runs.
And they have been in dramatic fashion on this homestand. The Royals are 7-2 on this homestand with 3 walk-off victories. We're in the 7th. 3-2 Blue Jays.
If the reason you saw Salvi with his helmet on, had Paulo Orlando got on and knocked in a run, Salvi would have pinch hit for BUTERA.
3-1. Drew taking all the way. And takes another. 3-2. That's up the middle, and that's a base hit. So BUTERA is on for the first time.
Ball was hit well. Changeup. He waited on it, and he stuck it right on the barrel. You see that? His backside fell out, and he was able to stay on it with his head position and guide it up the middle. A line shot.
This is the most pitches he's thrown in any one inning, 20 already. Dyson takes ball 1. Burley's got him twice and a comebacker, and also struck him out swinging in the 5th inning. He started Dice off with that breaking ball. And this time right back to Burley, who juggles and still has time to make the throw to first base.
Couldn't get it out of his glove.
Yeah, looked like he got stuck in the webbing.
Ooh, almost cost him.
The Royals score a run, and they've cut it to 3-2 with the Jays still leading.
Detroit will try to come back after that stunner last night, giving up 7 in the 9th against Minnesota. Oakland and Cleveland a little bit later. The White Sox guys are trying to toss their 3rd straight shutout. The last time they did that was 1973, and Houston and Tampa. Dallas Keuchel and Jay Godorizzi after the game will break this one down. We'll hear from Ned Yost, player reaction, and get you ready for the final game before the All-Star game, which will come tomorrow afternoon. Well, the game might slow down a little bit now. Looks like Mark Burley is done, guys.
Well, that's outstanding because he's really been excellent against the Royals in his career with 25 wins. And the Toronto Blue Jays for opponents has been rather manageable this year, and they have not pitched well of late. But we shall see. Luke Hochevar, the new pitcher for Kansas City, is facing Edwin Encarnacion, who right now had the big hit for Toronto back in the 4th inning with the Royals leading 1-0. Batista had singled, and Encarnacion hit a high fly ball to left. The wind was blowing out. It barely cleared the left field fence into the Royals bullpen.
Coach's job, hold him right there. Let the offense come back. Burley's out of the game. They get to that pin. Hochevar has the goods. Good hard fastball. We've seen some 95s and 96s from him. Overhand curve. He cuts his fastball as well.
Takes a mighty rip and misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Our Ram drive of the game was Edwin in the 4th.
Wasn't his normal tape measure shots, but it got the job done. Gave him the lead. Just scraped over the back of the fence, but a homer's a homer.
Hochevar with the 2-2 pitch, and it is fouled off. Lou worked around a 1-out walk for a scoreless 8th inning in Thursday's 8-3 win over the Rays. Continues to work his way back from Tommy John surgery, which caused him to miss all of last year. But now that we're seeing him in July, it looks like that repeatability of pitches, release point, much better. Moose easily gets Encarnacion, who slowly makes his way down the first base line.
Well, it's just because he got himself a jam sandwich. He didn't like it. Ball was all over his hands. Good pitch by Hoch.
Strike 1 to Justin Smoak, who has struck out twice and reached on an error. Infante was playing in shallow right field, and the ball hit once in the dirt, and as soon as it hit the grass, it stayed down and went right between Omar's legs. Justin, 28 years old, out of Goose Creek, South Carolina. Did not go.
You're big and strong like that. It takes a lot of hand strength to be able to hold that bat back. Nice job of checking.
This time Hoch comes upstairs, and now a favorable count for Smoak at 3 balls and 1 strike. Smoak was with Seattle last year and only hit 7 home runs, batted .202, and that was a season after he hit 20. Breaking ball misses down low, and or excuse me, a fastball misses down low, and that is ball 4. Before the Royals return to action after the All-Star break, Fox Sports Kansas City recaps the first half of the season. We'll bring you 5 of the best games from the first half of the 2015 year. See the list at foxsportskansascity.com. The Royals Marathon Wednesday, starting at 1 o'clock on Fox Sports Kansas City. Well, there have been some awfully good games, and particularly this week with 3 Royal walk-off wins. Swing and a miss by Russell Martin.
The Royals offense, previous 5 games, double digits in hits. Burley, he put an end to that.
Just outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cutter's a nice pitch working for Hoach. That's very deceptive to the hitter. Looks like the fastball all the way in the last minute before you barrel it. It breaks about 2 inches.
In there, 1 and 2. Hoach came up as a starter, moved to the bullpen in 2013. Was really terrific when he got into that attack mode. And of course, missed last year when he was injured in spring training. Shallow left center field. Dyson, though, comes in quickly and makes the catch for out number 2. Another fine crowd here at Kauffman Stadium. And we've got time for a Mazda game break, and it's really interesting. Detroit has had so many bullpen problems, but they signed today Neftali Feliz, who was designated for assignment on July 4th. So they're going with yet another Texas Ranger former reliever. Joe Nathan struggled. Joakim Soria, who was with Texas last year, he struggled last night. Ooh. And struggling to hold onto the bat is Kevin Pillar here in inning number 8. The Twins were trailing the Detroit Tigers bullpen 6-1 in the 9th inning, and Minnesota scored 7 runs in the 9th to win it. And I think Dave Dombrowski had said, I've seen enough, we need some help, so they signed Neftali Feliz.
Well, you'd have thought that he'd have seen enough last season, as bad as their bullpen was, and
looked like it clipped off the right hand of Drew BUTERA. Runner at first. Popped him up. Foul territory. Will there be room for Hosmer? No. Boy, I'm telling you, this time of the day, that sun is just glaring down by anyone on the right side of the field. And Haas looked up immediately, and it looked like about 1,000 flashbulbs were going on in his eyes the way he blinked immediately, trying to find that baseball.
So much rain, so much overcast the last few games. They haven't had to worry about the sun.
And they haven't even had much batting practice this week because we've had so much moisture. Hoach with the 0-2 pitch. Tested him upstairs. A little bit outside with the fastball at 95. So after jumping ahead, he went fastball up and in, and now fastball away.
Good job by BUTERA, holding it right there for Ron Culpa. Home plate umpire doing an excellent job today.
The 2-2 pitch is out back, and Pillar had a pretty good rip on that cut fastball. And Drew asks and receives time from Ron Culpa to get together with Hoach on what pitch selection, maybe location they want to come together here. But the one thing I really like about Hoach in June and July, Rex, is the fact when he misses, he's barely missing.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want the borderline pitches to stay out of the middle of the plate because it's going to get hit. So if you're going to miss off of it.
Tight. Full count. Now the runner will be going.
BUTERA, as a reminder, came up from his crouch, pointed to the infielders, and pointed to first base. The play's at first. Hosmer's playing behind the runner. Let everybody know.
Lifted foul back and out of play.
You know, that's so important. All the great young baseball players in this area need to know that it's very fundamental up here at the major league level, just like it is down lower in the amateur levels. But you have to know what you're going to do before the ball is hit. So communication is extremely important. It's okay to talk. It's okay to yell on a baseball field. Help your teammates. Remind them.
Pilar takes it outside. Second walk in the inning by Hoch. And that will bring Carrera up for the 4th time today. He is 0 for 3, but did reach on a fielder's choice last time up. The Blue Jays with 3 runs on 7 hits. Kansas City with 2 runs on 5 hits. Well, here's that communication you're talking about, this time between 2 guys rather quietly.
3rd time this inning they've had a little meeting.
Carrera with a career high 16 RBIs. I mean, he's been with several organizations: the Mets, Seattle, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Detroit last year, and now with Toronto. Strike 1. So Hoch starts him off with a breaking ball. Still has that fastball in his back pocket that's about 15 miles an hour better than the breaker Carrera just saw. This is the guy he wants because Travis is on deck and Devon is hot again after slumping a little bit. But the last couple of weeks, the right-handed batter who's in the on-deck circle really squaring the ball up much better. And there is strike 2.
There it is. With Hoch changing speeds with his fastball, he can really utilize that. Now this one here, he took a little bit off, but got the high part of the strike zone. Carrera thought that was way too high. Now he drops the hammer on it.
And strikes him out.
Yeah, he had that big curveball in the back pocket, and he used it at the opportune time. Way to maneuver, Hoch. Good job, you held him.
Top of the order coming up.
Get him some runs here.
Escobar, Moose, and Morales. is our sprint cuts of the game.
Boy, he did a fine job, and he did it in timely fashion, as he always does. Uses that defense and uses a lot of ground balls. Had him playing exactly where he wanted him. There's 5 hits. And I told you, last 5 games, the Royals were in double digits, their offense. He was able to do his job there. Almost got that ball stuck in his glove. Couldn't make the out, but I think they're happy to see him gone.
Absolutely. And they'll try and take on the bullpen right now, and that means Bo Schultz, the right-hander out of Northwestern, 29 years of age, only his 13th game this year, so he was down in the minors for a little while, but pitched very well at the big league level until recently. He had a game on July 5th where he gave up 2 home runs in the game. Fouled off by Escobar, 1-1. And this is where the Royals have been really good. We showed you that graphic earlier, what the Royals have done after the 7th inning. And Ned Yost really believes it's a lot of confidence. And he said this team is very confident right now. They have won 7 of their 9 games on this homestand. In the air, center field, playable for Pilar, and he makes the catch for out number 1.
Schultz, 94-96 with that fastball. He tries to sink it, move it a little around a little bit, slider, changeup, and he's done a nice job. You can see why Gibbons is going to him right after Burley's excellent game that he's thrown. So he's only allowed a couple homers, 1 from each side, but low averages.
Both of those home runs coming in that July 5th game at Detroit. He had not allowed a home run in his previous 16 1/3 innings, and now facing Mike Moustakas, who's trying to break out of a 4-for-42 slide that has seen his batting average dip below 300 for the first time in a long time. Goes to left field, but stays up and playable for Carrera for out number 2.
Bottle that swing up, Moose. That's the one you want. Stay with it. Good contact. Carrera, nice job of the focus there. That ball was hit hard. That's exactly what Moose wants to do. Short swing, good head position. Look at the head position. Head position is right down on contact. That's what Dale Sweem has really been stressing lately. Keeping that head down on contact so you're seeing it.
Morales sends one down the line, foul. He was not waiting on the Bo Schultz pitch. He was going after the very first one.
Morales getting an opportunity from the left side of the plate for the first time today, where he is much more powerful.
Schultz comes inside, 1-1. Ten home runs, 58 RBIs. He leads the team. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Staying hard on the inner half on Morales, trying to tie him up. It's working. Backed him off the plate the previous pitch. Got a little stare back from Morales. So hitters like Morales that are smart and make their living doing that is making mental notes of this, of Schultz, and the fact that he's come in the last 3 pitches inside. So he maybe sometimes hitters they'll cheat, they'll open up their hip a little bit, their front side, and they'll look in there. If it's out over the plate at all, he's going to try to put a good easy rip on it, get it up in that wind today. Tie this baby up. And he went back with an off speed, a changeup. But good hitters, they foul those tough ones off. Just exactly what he wanted to do.
Schultz has walked just 5 in his 20 1/3 innings this year. And he strikes out Kendrys Morales to end the 8th inning. Kept on coming inside on the Royals' big designated hitter. To the 9th we go, 3-2 Toronto. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Royals Baseball Corporation and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Royals. Warm afternoon, opportunity to get a suntan. Royals are hoping to get the Jays in order here in the top of the 9th inning and have a chance for their 4th walk-off win of this homestand. They'll have Hosmer, Rios, and Infante coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. But first things first, as Brandon Finnegan comes out of the bullpen, pitching in his 13th game this year, and he has been sharp. 2-0 record, 2.11 ERA. Finnegan to Winnigan.
Wouldn't be a bad thing at all. Keep the line moving. Looking to win their 7th straight home game for the first time in 12 years. Huh? Is that right? First time in 12 years. 7th straight home win. Well, it'd be nice. Walk-off fashion, those are the most exciting.
We saw one a week ago yesterday, and then last Sunday, Tuesday. 3 on this homestand. Finnegan facing Devon Travis, who is 1 for 3 single his last time up. Wild pitch, advanced a couple of runners, and then an infield hit by Reyes scored the 3rd run for the Jays, and that proves to be the decider right now currently.
Finnegan's job same as Hoach in last inning. Hold him right there. Good fastball, good slider. He's got a couple of nice weapons there. Occasional changeup.
Base hit to right field. So the right-hander comes through, and now we'll see the switch hitter Reyes bat from the right side. Devon stays hot. He's heading over 370 since coming off the disabled list. They missed him for 6 weeks because of a left shoulder injury.
Barely strides at all with that front foot. Nice swing. Weighted back, has kept his hands inside. Way to set the table. That was good.
Finnegan will face only right-handers the rest of the way because no one's up in the Royals bullpen, and they have Reyes right now, then Valencia, then Batista, then Encarnacion. So keep her down.
Finnegan, he's held his own against righties. Just a 146 average he's given up.
Bunt try. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Checking out third base coach Luis Rivera, giving him the signs. Want to stay out of a possible double play, put him in scoring position, and they're looking for some insurance runs.
Quiet crowd right now. 30,790. 30th crowd of the year, over 30,000 at the K. Another bunt try and another foul bunt. And Reyes off with his helmet, upset with himself for not getting that down and advancing Travis to second base.
Well, Finnegan has Travis at first base going back when he heads home. So Travis not looking like he's going to want a steal here. He's just stolen 2 bases this year.
Gapper to right center. Dyson lays out, can't get there. And this likely will score. No, they're going to hold Travis at third base. Good backup by Rios.
Thought Gerard Dyson might get to it. Great opportunity there for him if he makes the catch. But Luis Rivera, third base coach for the Jays, he knows there's nobody out. Not going to try to force that run home. Reyes with 2 strikes, able to put the ball in play beyond Dyson. So first 2 batters against Finnegan, done a good job of going to the opposite field, not trying to pull him.
And Valencia, who's more of a pull hitter, now steps to the plate. Boy, he has really done a great job throughout his career batting against left-handed pitchers, a career .325 average.
You could make a good living doing that. A lot of managers looking for specialty right-handed hitters that can hit lefties.
Hosmer, Infante, Escobar, Moustakas, first to third, all in on the edge of the grass. Good speed on with Travis at third and Reyes at second.
BUTERA, good job there smothering that one.
Three runs, 9 hits for the Blue Jays. 2 runs, 5 hits for Kansas City.
Valencia wants to put this game on ice. Big hit here could be a big setback for the Royals' chances.
Finnegan has not found the strike zone yet. A 3-0 count. You know who is on deck. Jose Bautista. One of the top RBI guys in the game the last decade. Valencia takes a strike, a 3-1 count.
Valencia be in swing mode here, looking for that fastball. Finnegan has any confidence in that slider and he can backdoor it. Might be a good pitch as he's going to be swinging.
Center field deep. Dyson away back.
Ice. Wow. There it is. Straight away. 3-1. I knew it was coming. So did Valencia. Second home run given up to a right-handed bat by Finnegan. 3-1. Going to get hit. And it didn't stay in. Deepest part of the yard here. Second tier center field. Valencia really just leveraged his front side there. Good hands he used.
Escobar. Finnegan finally gets his first out of this 9th inning. With a home run by Danny Valencia went 422 feet. Dead center field.
You know, that feels good. He wore the Royals uniform last season.
Encarnacion takes strike one. Well, they are known for their power. They now have 115 home runs this year. That's second most in the American League. And a swing and a miss by Encarnacion has him down in the count 0-2. Royals have won 6 in a row, outscoring the opposition 39-22 coming into this one. Nice big hop for Escobar. And Encarnacion is out number 2. Oh, those 3-run home runs will haunt you. Travis with a quality base hit with a single to right field, and then on an 0-2 count, Jose Reyes dropped one into right center field. Now Justin SMOAK smacks one foul, strike one.
You know, sometimes, you know, in the situation there, a pitcher's thinking, all right, if I can locate this 3-1 pitch, fastball, and keep it down, he hits it at somebody. But sometimes the hitter has other ideas. And Valencia, he was waiting back. He knew he was going to get him a 3-1 cookie. And Finnegan, there's that breaking ball there. That pitch there is going to be a big pitch for him if he's going to be coming in games late, you know, trying to get his team back in the dugout. That backdoor slider to righties is going to be a pitch he's going to have to focus on a little bit more. And
past Moustakas into left field, and SMOAK has his first base hit of the afternoon. Well, Danny Valencia's shot to center field is certainly a candidate for our yellow wood. Yellowwood bringing the lumber.
he's a strong guy, and he just used his hands and didn't try to pull it. That is a perfectly struck baseball.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Jays, who had been shut out for their previous 27 innings, exploding today, getting 2 runs in the 4th, 1 in the 7th, and 3 in the 9th. Have scored 6 on Kansas City. And this is the way they usually have done it when they have been victorious this year, pummeling the opposition with home run after home run, but mainly at home. I mean, their home record of 26-18, much better than the road mark of 18-27. Outside. The Jays started the afternoon 4.5 games back of the New York Yankees. Royals with a 5.5 game lead on the Twins. Twins have their afternoon game with the Detroit Tigers. Alfredo Simon throwing for Detroit, and Minnesota going with right-hander Phil Hughes. Other central action today or tonight: Carrasco for Cleveland entertaining Oakland and Bassett, and the White Sox are at the Cubs, and that's a good matchup. Sale versus Lester. BUTERA could not hold on. Brandon throwing a lot of pitches in this inning, up near the 30 pitch mark. He gave up 3 straight hits, a single, a double, and then the home run. Quickly got 2 outs with Batista and Encarnacion. Smoke then singled, and Dave Island coming out for a visit, the young left-hander.
Probably somewhere along the lines of just get that shoulder going back downhill, and don't open up and don't try to overthrow. 2 outs here, we can get out of this.
The Royals will have hitters 4, 5, and 6 coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. That means Hosmer, Rios, and Infante. And they do have on their bench Lorenzo Cain, Salvador Perez, and Dusty Coleman. All right-handed bats. Strike 1. Fouled back. Finnegan with an 0-2 count, facing his 8th batter of this 9th inning. One more before the break tomorrow afternoon. Edinson Volquez here at the K against Felix Doubront. He got him to chase that breaking ball down and in. Pilar strikes out swinging, but the damage has been done as Valencia goes deep with a 3-run home run, and it's now 6-2 Blue Jays. Those were given their all-star game jerseys before the game. Mark Burley did an outstanding job in his start today. Chris Young matched him with a quality start, but Burley left with a 3-2 lead, and then it expanded to 6-2 on the Valencia home run. So Roberto Osuna will come on. You see his record this year. He's become their closer. And this is a talented young 20-year-old out of Mexico, signed at the age of 16.
6'2", 230. He's got a power fastball. maybe reach up in the upper 90s. Slider and a good changeup. Changeup is his best secondary pitch. Look at how smooth that ball comes out of his hand. Very smooth delivery. Ball gets on you in a hurry. Very little body. Got a little Giordano Ventura in him. Very similar.
That was that off-speed pitch, but misses way high, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He did not pitch well at all in his last outing against the Chicago White Sox, suffering his 3rd loss of the year after surrendering a walk-off home run in the 11th inning. And Haas has a 2-1 count.
Back-to-back changeups there. That's his good secondary pitch. You see how he's holding that ball in the back 3 fingers. Go back with that fastball. Get in there. No, 3 changeups in a row.
Now it's a 3-1 count. Royals just need base runners to start with. Then they need the big hits. Eric has flied out, grounded out twice. 0 for 3. In there. So a 3-2 count.
Haas can expect a fastball here. He hadn't been able to command his changeup.
And he got jammed and rolls into the first baseman. SMOAK will get it to the pitcher covering, and there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Alex Rios will step up. He's been on twice, hit by a pitch. He lined out to the shortstop and then doubled down the left field line and came around to score on Orlando's ground out. Both of the Royal runs this afternoon have come on ground outs, one by Kendrys Morales, the other by Paulo Orlando. Rios started his career with the Blue Jays and had some terrific seasons. It was a number of years ago, but Alex with a .297 average, 24 home runs and 85 RBIs in 2007, 8 years ago. And he hits this one high in the air, but not deep enough. The wind pushing it towards the warning track, and there is out number 2. So the Royals down to their final out, and that man will be Omar Infante, trying to extend things. Omar reached in an infield hit his first time up, then flied out the last 2 times, once to right, once to center. Ball 1. The Royals won yesterday 3-0. They knew they'd be in for a test with Burley, who has beaten them 25 times in the past. 1-1. One and 2. Not afraid of throwing that changeup to righties or lefties. Chases that off-speed pitch away and strikes out, and that will do it for Kansas City. Final score is 6-2. The Blue Jays even this series at 1 win each.